I still gotta configure things for stream. So, if there's anything wrong, the audio being way too loud. Still gotta configure things for stream. So, let's see. If there's anything wrong, the audio being way too loud. Still gotta configure things for stream. So, let's see. If there's anything wrong, the audio being way too loud. Still gotta configure things for stream. How do I sound now? How do I sound now? Can't tell, I have a lot of myself going on between Streamlabs and Twitch actual output. Can't tell, I have a lot of myself and Twitch actual output. Let's try that now. Sounds like the game could still be a little quieter. Is that enough widgets? Okay, I think we're finally good to go. It only took like 4 minutes of actual live stream time. Actually, it sounds like it could be a little quieter. Not by a lot, just a little bit. There. Okay. Let's actually start the shiny hunt. Hello, I am Tiger Tanaka. First stream in 3 years. Hopefully things don't break on me. Been a very long time. But I just got the ability to shiny hunt Arceus just a couple weeks ago. And yeah. I wanted to do it because this is the first time Arceus has been legitimately shiny huntable in a long time without, like, hacks or cheats. I think this is the first time ever, unless you were in Japan. So no luck on the first try, let's try a second time. I meant to get a counting thing up, but I forgot to, so I guess we're just not gonna have one this time around, but that's okay. I'd be very surprised if it actually wound up being this stream whatsoever, but hey, you never know. Apologies for a lot of quietness. This is the first time in a long time I've really had to fill silence on a regular basis, so I'm going to be kind of floundering around trying to figure out what to talk about as I'm doing this. I'm a little bit of a nervous wreck, but I'll get there eventually, I think. Maybe. don't even know how well this is going to go, because I gotta see how well this affects the internet in general, because if this affects the internet too badly, then I just won't be able to do it anymore anyway. You never really realize how long these loading screens are until you have to go through it a bunch of times. Yep, still no yellow. Maybe one of these days. Let's see, what things to talk about to fill the void of silence? That is a good question, me. One that I don't necessarily have the answer to, because this is really foreign to me. Getting stage fright even though there's no one in the audience. How awkward. Nope, not this time either. I will say I do like the lore that we got in Legends Arceus, where the Pokemon that we see is only an extension of its entire being. So everything that we've seen of Arceus up to this point isn't even a fraction of its real power. It's like everyone was theorizing that the 1,000 arms mentioned in its Pokedex were the unknown, but instead now it's like, maybe there's 1,000 of Arceus just in Pokemon form doing all of its bidding. Who knows, though? Not like Game Freak is ever gonna officially comment on any of that. They gotta leave some history in there. And I'm probably making this harder on myself by not having the shiny charm, but I also don't feel like completing the entire Pokedex just to get that, because that's a lot of work, and it would probably save me time in the long run, but oh well. It'll be more exciting doing full odds. Because full odds means that when it does come, it's well worth the payoff. Also, I want to say, this cutscene, while cool on the first or second time, why couldn't they just let us save directly next to it, just like they did originally? Like, I love the little cutscene of Arceus staring you down, and just kinda sizing you up, so to speak. But why did they have to make it so that it would start the battle immediately after? Couldn't they have just let us save after the cutscene, if nothing else? lore-wise, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, well, more specifically, Platinum is probably my favorite, because, like, not only does it go into more detail than Diamond and Pearl did, but there's just so much that they were able to do with it, even in just Legends, like, we actually got to see how, well, how Sinnoh got its name, firstly, because everyone was worshipping the wrong deity, thinking it was either Dialga or Palkia or even Arceus, and they just got them all mixed up or something. Not to mention the Distortion World and Giratina, like, there's a lot there. And I would never expect it to, like, make continual returns in the series or anything, but, you know, it's interesting stuff. Like the vibe of the Distortion World. It's one of the few areas in Pokemon at that point that had no wild encounters whatsoever. It was just completely void of everything but Giratina. Since it was supposed to be banished, there was a punishment for being too destructive in our world. So, fitting that it'd be banished in absolute seclusion. Maybe I should have picked a game that had more going on as my first stream, but I wanted something easy so that way in case something went wrong, I'd be able to fix it immediately. But boy is it hard to think of stuff to talk about when there's nothing to interact with. Now, I've not been counting on the soft resets, because, well, I don't have a counter, and I'm not going to manually count them the entire time, because that would be too much. And the reason why I'm shiny hunting Arceus is because I have made the dumb decision to have a living shiny dex in Pokemon Home. Not the smartest thing, definitely, but I started getting a lot of shinies, and I got the idea to do it, so I was like, you know what, I have, like, a fair amount of shinies, I might as well go for the whole thing, not realizing how long of a goal that was gonna be. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got a few hundred different shinies of different species, but, like, now with Scarlet and Violet, there's a well over 1,000 of them, not to mention regional forms. So, I am in for a long time. Still sad that they didn't remake Platinum instead of Diamond and Pearl, because, like, Platinum filled in the story holes so much more. Diamond and Pearl are just messes. Like, I think in the original Diamond and Pearl, you don't even meet Cyrus until more than halfway through the game, which is insane. And then in Platinum, it's like the first time you enter Mount Coronet after Orberg City, I think it is, you just see him right there, like, rambling to himself, and then he realizes you're there. time, Platinum was my favorite Pokemon game. And then I played Black and White a few times over, and then, you know, story-wise, they were my favorites almost immediately, but overall, Black and White was my favorite for a very long time. Basically up until Scarlet and Violet, actually. And I absolutely hated how much hate Black and White got as games. Because everyone was like, oh, these Pokemon are unoriginal, inanimate objects. And it's like, okay, well, Generation 1 had plenty of those, but I don't see you complaining about that. Not to mention how fast-paced the battling system is in that game. Like, I remember in Dragon Spiral Tower, I think, you had a lot of Team Plasma Grunts to battle, and I remember there was one spot where you had to fight 3 of them all in a row with no breaks. I remember being able to speed through all 3 trainers within like a minute and a half. And not even because I was over-leveled, because the battle system was that fast. Like, I don't know of any other Pokemon game where you'd be able to beat 3 trainers within 2 minutes. It just had so many quality of life changes. For, at the time anyway, it was a lot more than we ever got. Especially making TMs, like, reusable. That was the best move they could have made. And then Scarlet and Violet, or Sword and Shield was like, what about if we made technical records that took the place of TMs? And it's like, okay, I guess the more powerful moves can be one use, and then the utility moves can be reusable. And then Scarlet and Violet was like, what if we just made TM single use entirely again, but you also have to make them yourself? It's like, oh, okay then. Like, I get it. They needed some sort of use to make the materials useful. And it's not the worst system in the world, because that means you can make however many of the TM you want, provided you have the materials or the lead points. But if you don't, you're just kind of screwed. So you just gotta kind of hope that you use the right TM at the right time, and hope you can find more of it somewhere. And I do have several cloned Master Balls for whenever Arceus shows up as shiny, because I knew that someday I was going to be doing this. So, while the glitch was still able to be done in the patch at the time, I cloned, shit, I don't even know how many Master Balls, probably like 10 or so. Like, not a lot, but enough to get by for any shiny legendaries or hard to get shinies. Just to make sure I don't fail it. Nope, not that time either. I'm still all alone. There's no viewers beside me. Someday, hopefully. It'd be nice. So I would absolutely love to be able to do this more often. But in order to do it more often, I need to gain a following so that way it's more worth it, you know what I mean? Because I love content creation, and I want to, like, continuously get into streaming. It's just quite the adjustment. It is an entirely different beast. Nope, nothing there either. Maybe someday. So I saw I had a viewer at the beginning of the stream, but that was when I was still setting up, so that was awkward timing, and understandably they left. Curious, how many Master Balls do I have? I have 20, so more than I thought. Still more than enough. Oh, forgot to I will say the Hall of Origin itself is pretty. Like the transparent glass for the stairway. The platform is absolutely gorgeous with the sunset, clouds in the background. For those of you, like, somehow making it this far into the VOD that I hope exists, I have it set up where Twitch is supposed to store them, but I don't know how that works, so I guess only time will tell. But for those of you who catch this VOD somewhere, I have a regular YouTube channel, Tiger Tanaka, where my husband and I are currently playing through Pokemon Violet Blind. The videos I just uploaded are up to the first gym badge right now, and I think we have a little bit past the second gym badge recorded, possibly the second Titan. Yeah, we do have the second Titan recorded. I'm still determining if this is going to go to a separate VOD channel or if it will go on the main channel. Leaning more towards VOD channel because I've heard that's a better strategy for viewership, but I'll do some more research before the VOD disappears, hopefully. Stay hydrated. Well, I'm slowly getting over the stage fright of no audience, so that's nice. But I will have to see if that changes when I actually get a viewer. If I get a viewer. Self-deprecating humor. And it wasn't even funny either. I'm just floundering to try to talk about anything. Oops. Bumped into the tray that's holding the laptop. One day I will get the Golden God. But that day is probably not today. Arceus battlefield, which definitely gives off the feeling that you are fighting a god and that you are not even supposed to be in its presence type of deal. If only we actually got to hear the whole thing, but I'm just resetting the game, because, well, it's not a shiny. There's even lag on the loading screen for crying out loud. Nope, not that time either. Yeah, I guess I could go into why I pronounce Arceus as Arceus, because that was the original pronunciation I heard. It was the pronunciation available in Pokemon Battle Revolution, which I played a shit ton of back in the day. And that's just what I went with. And then that's how it was originally advertised, if I remember correctly. And then when the movie came around, they suddenly switched it to Arceus, and I was like, excuse me, no, that's not how you've been pronouncing it all this time. We've known its existence for like 3 years, and you're only just now getting around to it. It's not our fault. So yeah, Arceus it is for me. Even though I know technically the correct pronunciation is Arceus, because it's based on the Arceus in alchemy, and Silvally has the Arceus system ability, which, well, is exactly the same way you pronounce it, so I get it. Truly, I do. I just prefer the original pronunciation. What can I say? Man, it really takes this long just for one attempt. Awkward silence is the best. The more I look at Arceus' model, the more his legs look like they're in like shin guards or boots or something, instead of just being part of his skin. And now I can't get that thing out of my head. That is called the Hall of Origin, which indicates this is where Arceus created everything originally. But then you get to the event in Heart Gold and Soul Silver where you're taken to the... Frick, I forget what it's called. It's the one spot where Arceus takes you there, and oh, the Sinjo Ruins. That's what it's called. Sinjo Ruins, where you literally have it create Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina as an egg for you. And that seems to be, like, more where it created something than here. Like, this seems like it's a celestial plane. The Sinjo Ruins looks like it was where it actually created stuff on the planet. So which is it, Game Freak? Just noticed the very light reflection in the glass that we're standing on. Took me this many resets just to notice that small detail. Just notice the floating triangles in the staircase there kind of look like the bits animation that Twitch uses. Kind of funny coincidence. Man, if this stream doesn't go anywhere, I'm not even sure I'll save it as a VOD, to be honest. Because it'll just be me talking like once every few minutes for like 30 seconds at a time. No one's going to want to watch that. Even if they try, they're going to get bored of it real fast. There's just nothing here to bounce off of. Maybe this was not a good idea for the first stream after that. Because the last time I streamed 3 years ago, my Sword and Shield were brand new. And then that was right before the pandemic hit. So, I had more ability to stream back then. And then work at home happened. And then things got a little messy as far as sharing the internet goes. So that pretty much put an end to it right then, right there. Main point being, I just wanted to do something that was like a way to ease into this. I did not think it was going to be this hard. Mostly hard to keep conversation going to myself. I will say, sometimes I do wish I wasn't so dead set on having this be my dream, but I have tried having other things as my dream, and I'm just nearly not as passionate as for anything else as I am for this. Which I'm sure is not reflecting in this stream, but yeah, ever since like Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out in 08, I've been listening and watching content creation ever since then, thanks to Proton John of all people, and Azure Blade 49 for his Super Mario World ROM hacks, also for John for that. And I just found it really, really funny and entertaining, and I wanted to try that at some point. And then, let's see if that was like 07, 08. I think my first video was 09, maybe 10. It wasn't long after Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, because I know my very first video was like action replay codes for that. And my first commentated video, I think, was a year or two after that, so like 2010, 2011. And ever since I started, I have never wanted to stop. I just try to be passionate about anything else besides video games or content creation or streaming, and I just can't bring myself to be. Like, once I learned that this was an option, this is what I've always wanted to do. Granted, I could be doing better at it, but I've had a lot of circumstances stacked against me, unfortunately. When I was younger, I would have to sneak doing this, so I could really only record videos for like 15 to 30 minute intervals, because my dad really hated the idea of putting myself out there. I originally was going to try to make a freaking YouTube poop for my very first video, like when I was even younger, like in 06, I think, maybe 07. And I had downloaded some video clips to, try to edit some stuff together. And, this was on my dad's computer, because I didn't have anything of my own yet. So he's able to see all the files I downloaded, and he very angrily confronted me about it. So, because that, in short, did not go over very well, I never brought it up to him ever again. So anytime that he would be out for an appointment or whatever, I would see if I could sneak in a video or two to record. And the most prominent memories of that are Heart Gold on my channel, where I think it's when I first get into the Union Cave, you can hear me go dead fucking silent for like a solid minute or two. That was when I was trying to do it while he was asleep. And I would have to be a lot more quiet for that, obviously, so I didn't wake him up. And then he just randomly woke up to, like, use the bathroom or whatever. And I was dead silent in that video for, like, a whole minute, just making sure he wasn't going to hear me before he went back to bed. After that, I didn't really start doing it while he was asleep again, because I didn't want to be caught doing something that I knew he was going to, like, get on me for. So every time he left for an appointment, I would do it instead. I gotta say, like, that system worked out for a while, I think about a year or two. I forget what year it was exactly. I want to say 2012, 2013. I don't remember exactly. It was the year I was doing, like, Pikmin and Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and then Platinum. Like, that time period in my channel I am definitely the most proud of, because not only was I getting videos out consistently, but I was feeling really good about doing it at the time. It was just really fun. And I definitely miss that consistency that I used to have. But a lot of things in life happened, as they do, and basically once Platinum finished, that was pretty much it for the consistency. And I was really sad about that. Even when things keep coming up that make it seem like I'm just absolutely not meant to do this, like every time I would try to record, something would go wrong, like the video being choppy, or not recorded at all, or my microphone being all robotic or some crap. Like, I would get to some really low lows after that. Like, I would have a whole day to record, and I remember I was trying to record Deltarune Part 1 when Chapter 2 had just come out. And I recorded for like an hour straight. I stopped the recording, and come to find out that everything that could have gone wrong with that video did. Like, there was video tearing, multicolored blocks and pixels everywhere, and my audio was, like, incomprehensible. To the point where it was better off just having the video mute at that point, because it was that much of a garbled mess. That was probably one of the worst blows I've had for my motivation to do content creation. Because how do you feel good about a failed recording like that? Especially when I don't get chances like that to record, like, for that long of an amount of time all that often anymore. So, did some more configuration testing and Googling a lot of things. Did hours of research just to find out that it was probably the old laptop. Like, laptop just can't keep up with what I was asking for it to do anymore. So, eventually got the laptop I'm currently using, and those problems went away. I remember even like a year ago, I tried using the previous laptop I had to record this game, and it was the same thing, where the audio and the video were choppy, nothing was like good, like at all, except for like the first 2 or 3 minutes. The first 2 or 3 minutes were fine, and then the video started like imploding. And I had recorded for like hour and a half, I think, because I had played through the Sinnoh region so many times, I didn't want to use any of the starters. I wanted to use a Psyduck, because I didn't really get to use Psyduck all that much as a kid. So, I hunted around for a Psyduck before the first gym, and little did I know that Psyduck was an incredibly rare spawn in Diamond and Pearl. So, I wound up searching in... frick, I forget what that cave is called, that's in between Jubilife City and Floral Town. But I was searching in there for like a good 30-40 minutes before I found one, and I was going nuts. I really wish that series could have worked. Because I was thinking it would have been like a nice homage to the peak of my channel with Platinum, to just kind of get a second chance at everything. Doing the Sinnoh region again, but in a more up-to-date fashion. But obviously that didn't work. But man, I wish I was able to have at least saved that clip, because me going nuts over not being able to find a Psyduck was a little funny, at least. At least I think so. But no, sadly everything had to be scrapped because it was completely unusable. Yeah, I've had so many canceled projects, it's not even funny. I had this game... Let's see what else. Had Deltarune. I've been on and off about doing Pikmin 2. I think I'm going to save that one for when I actually gain a following, though. If that happens, but besides the point. because the way I want to do it is going to be different than how other people do it. It's like it's going to be informative, but not in the way that you think. But yeah, it has been incredibly hard life for me trying to be a content creator because my consistency is mostly things beyond my control. Which sounds like I'm shifting blame to something, and, you know, maybe a part of me is. Maybe I could, like, be a bit more assertive for certain things. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure things out. But at the end of the day, it has not been easy trying to make essentially my dream come true. Like, I hate that this is my dream because it is one of the hardest dreams I could ever have frickin' picked. But here I am, grinding away at it, hoping for the best. Oh boy, what am I even doing? I should not have picked this for my first stream. What was I thinking? I'm not even trying to, like, shit on myself or anything. This is just... I probably wouldn't even watch this. And I'm just talking about my life. All this backstory into my life and the inside of my YouTube channel, and no one is gonna hear it. At least not in this. If I ever gain a following, then maybe I'll repeat these details at a later time, who knows. Can you tell I like Pokemon a lot with everything that's on my homepage on my Switch? See, Brilliant Diamond, Violet, Home, Legends, Shield. Had Let's Go Eevee at some point, but both my husband and I got real bored of that after like 7 badges, because being forced to play the game like it's Go is not fun. It was a nice novelty for like the first hour, but then when you keep missing throws for absolutely no reason, like, I threw it correctly, but the ball and the game said, no you didn't, you threw it to the left, like a hard left, almost completely sideways. It's just freaking hilarious though, because like, on his profile, I was just kind of like grinding his Pokemon up, and I had come across a Pokemon Center that had one of the Alolan NPCs in there to trade the Cantonian Geodude for the Alolan one. I did one trade just to, like, get it registered in the Dex or whatever, and I shit you not, the first trade I did with him was a shiny Alolan Geodude. And it was still early in the morning, so I couldn't really be loud, but I was freaking the fuck out internally. Like, the first encounter, technically, but yeah, the first trade I did in that game was a frickin' shiny. A shiny that I didn't even have yet at the time, so that was excellent. Weirdly enough, I didn't find out until years later that I could have used that save file to transfer it to home, which I eventually did. Like, we sold the game a couple years ago, but the save file's still on the Switch. And boy am I glad I kept it, because I was able to transfer that shiny Alolan Geodude right over to home. Sadly, I realized this after Alolan Geodude had a community day in Pokemon Go, so I had that shiny anyway. But hey, at least I have a Let's Go one. And yes, I do believe that Pokemon Go shinies are just as valid as other shinies. Like, sure, community days make it really easy, but at the end of the day, they intend for you to go out into real life world and actually hunt for them yourself. Not that I have the capability to do that, I do spoof, but still, I just like collecting shinies. Doesn't matter how I get them, not to me it doesn't. If it matters to anyone else, that's on them. I do remember the first legitimate shiny I had encountered in a very, very long time. In fact, I think it was the only one besides the guaranteed red Gyarados in gold that I had. It was in X version. I was doing some EV training, and I had found a horde of Gulpin, and there was a shiny one in there, and I freaked out. Like, that was the first shiny I had ever found, legitimately. And that Gulpin is now a Swallow resting comfortably at home, waiting for Scarlet and Violet Commandment to come out so it can be released. Not literally, though, because I'm not releasing shinies. Never again, once I found out that there are trading communities for shinies exclusively. Hydrate before my throat dehydrates. I don't care what anyone says, water's fucking delicious. It's gotta be good water, though. Like spring water. There's just a certain... I forget what the happy hormone is called. Dopamine? I don't know. I see different colored Pokemon. I see shiny sparkles. It make me happy. That's all there is to it. Basically, I got a rare thing. I have bragging rights. Did just complete the national for a few weeks ago or so. I had the original colors from the year on top of a lot of shinies to register all those Pokemon. I did for a brief while consider that to be a shiny, and then turns out that Sword and Shield has shiny coding for both original and regular colored Magearna, and it's like, oh, so this is definitely not a shiny. So when are we actually getting the shiny forms for those, Game Freak? We still don't have shiny Victini. I think that's the oldest Pokemon that we don't have a shiny of so far, if I remember right. There might be one or two others that I'm not remembering. But yeah, Victini distribution is like almost non-existent. really wish that at some point they would redistribute it with its event moves that Reshiram and Zekrom learn. Or hell, even V-Create, like, why is Victini's signature move locked behind one specific event that happened over 10 years ago? That makes no sense to me. V-Create isn't even like an overpowered move by itself. Hell, a shiny Rayquaza had V-Create more recently than Victini did. Not by long, but still. Like, it's powerful, but it lowers your attack, defense, and speed, so, like, I'd say that's pretty balanced. Because lowering your speed by even one stage is very detrimental. Popped my shoulder and my elbow. That was weird. So overall, this stream seems to be a success, minus viewership, but I guess a part of me was expecting that, but I was definitely hoping that it wouldn't be the case. But what are you gonna do? It's my first stream in 3 years, it's not like I have a loyal fan base. It's like I even have like 217 subscribers on YouTube. I don't know how many of them are actually active. Maybe 2. One of them being my husband, who I love very much. But he's my husband, he almost has like a silent obligation to do so. Not really, but you get the point. That was another thing I missed in the Platinum days, where I actually got to interact with some fans. Like, not in person, obviously, but just comment sections. Like, I used to get some actual activity on my videos back in the day. I really miss those days. Wish I was able to capitalize on that time more. I know I'm talking about a lot the past, but I do consider that the peak of my channel for a reason. It was where I saw the most success, where I got the most fulfillment out of it. Not to say I'm not fulfilled from doing this right now, but it was different then. Like, actually interacting with people who watched, it was nice. I miss that. And I'm really hoping this is successful enough where I can continue to do that. Like, even if I don't wind up making money off of this, which, yeah, that would be great, because then I could do it even more. But even if I can, like, I would love to be able to talk to people. Which sounds even more sad and pathetic than I thought. Because, I'm gonna be real, I don't have friends. Like, I have my husband Xander's friends, but they don't talk to me. Hell, I send them a message on text or Snapchat or whatever, and they leave me on red with no response. Like, I get it, we're all busy adults nowadays, so you can't respond to every single message you get, but if I message you something, like several days in a row, you can't respond to one of them? Come on. So, as much as they would like to consider me a friend, I don't really consider them friends because they don't talk to me. I make the effort all the time. I I used to make the effort all the time, and conversation never picked up, so I was like, why bother? Like, if I'm gonna try to make friends with you, I'd like it to be a two-way conversation, not me talking at a brick wall. Which I'm technically doing now, but at least there's the potential for anyone to join up at any point. Man, I get really down sometimes. Not like down, but the topic is definitely heavy. I don't know, I might call it early tonight. I'm not in a horrible mental state by any means, but I'm not in a perfect one either. Just had some stuff go on before the stream too that didn't help. Was hoping this would be enough of a distraction. Maybe one person would have hopped on a chat, but I don't know. The main point of this was to test to see if it was functional at least. And it appears to be, so maybe I'll try again. I think I'll go for 5 more minutes. Unless someone decides to drop in, which I doubt. Forgot to actually reset the game there. I was like spacing out for a solid 20 seconds. I was like, wait a minute. Nothing else is happening. It's just the encounter. Oh yeah, I have to actually push buttons on the controller. Yeah, I think this is going to be the last attempt, and if it's not shiny, then I'll just call it a night. Because, yeah, this stream served its purpose on whether or not this was going to be a stable internet thing. I'll be finding out for sure after the stream, but as far as I can tell, it seems to be. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. It's just hard to feel up for this when no one's watching, which I can't expect will happen all the time, or especially not right away, but I'm just in my head about it. And like I said, some stuff happened right before the stream that kind of contributed to it, so, you know. Alright, guys, I will see if this is something that can happen again in the future. Hope it is. If streaming can happen again, follow me on Twitter, keep updated. If not, I will also update on Twitter. So basically follow me on Twitter. Check out my YouTube channel, Tired Snaka, for regular Let's Play videos. And I'll see you later in some way, shape, or form.